I wanted to ask you about North Korea. 4 more missile launches. They haven't, as far as we know, the Joint Chiefs are saying that this latest one did not include, as they claim, an ICBM, a long-range missile that could reach the continental United States. But they are clearly advancing. Yeah. And while they haven't figured out how to put a nuclear warhead on top of these missiles, that could be down the road. What do we do?
If there was an easy what do, we would have done it. This is a genuinely wicked problem. I don't envy the Trump administration this issue because, frankly, Andrew, because of the limited successes of all of his predecessors, we're getting to crunch time. Probably within his first administration, the North Koreans will have a rudimentary, indigenously produced ICBM with a rudimentary, indigenously produced nuclear warhead, probably capable of reaching the American Pacific Northwest. It won't be a high-confidence weapon. They're going to have lots of problems with launch, separation, fusing, hardening, miniaturization, and so on. But then again, Andrew, if you're living in Seattle or Vancouver, what kind of odds you're comfortable with? This is really coming to a very, very difficult choice.
And there's reporting from David Sanger and his colleagues, William Broad and others at the New York Times, that among the options being considered by this new administration are helping South Korea become nuclear armed. It's something that the president talked about during the campaign. Is that a good idea, to renuclearize the peninsula?
It's an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but then again, Andrew, we're running out of good ideas. My sense is a threat, even a suggestion that we would return our weapons to South Korea, that we would allow the South Koreans to develop their own weaponry. That's a carom shot. That's not meant to influence the North Koreans because it probably have a negative effect on them. They'd want their weapons even more. What that's designed to do is to point out to the Chinese, if you don't put pressure on these guys, we're going to go do what we got to go do, and I don't think you're going to like it. And maybe then we get the Chinese to exert the kind of pressure that to date they've just refused to exert.
And today, China threatened consequences because of our beginning to deploy the anti-missile defenses in South Korea, the so-called THAAD program. How much do we need to worry about that?
Look, I'm fully in the lane of, with regard to the THAAD, this is we got to go do what we got to go do. Sorry, China, not meant for you. But as long as these crazy people up here keep doing this, we're going to take necessary measures. I'd put THAAD in Japan as well. And that certainly, Andrea, would get the Chinese attention.
And finally, do we have a military option against North Korea, some sort of preemptive strike or any kind of other military option?
You referenced David's really wonderful article, David Sanger, about what defense is doing. And they're talking about doing stuff left of launch. You know, do something to the North Koreans before the thing's on its way to North America. One left of launch activity is actually a preemptive strike. But Andrea, like I said, no good options here. I've had 2 tours in Korea. My last one was in Seoul. When I stretched my legs, I would hit my chem gear and my Kevlar and my weapon. And my office in downtown Seoul was within range of thousands of tubes of North Korean artillery. Seoul's a city of 14 million people.
And the last time I left North Korea, just a couple of years ago, when I left the DMZ and hit South Korea, all that area that used to be mountain range is now populated. It's now part of the suburbs of Seoul. It's always great to see you. Thank you again.